So this is the wall where we had to tear down the plaster, so I've got most of the drywall up. I had to solve some electrical bugs here, so I don't have the drywall on that piece, but that piece will get drywall and it'll get a remodel box. Had to trace some electricity that had an open ground. But over here I'll show you what I do. This plaster is still in pretty good shape, although it's letting go. Even if you fix this plaster, it won't exceed 120 to 150 years of hanging on the wood, regardless of what kind of repair you do. But this repair will postpone it maybe another 20, 25 years. So as you can see, I've got a crack, starts at the ceiling, comes down, it's missing some pieces, and comes down, goes over here, and comes over this way. That's still pretty steady up there. I'm not going to bother it, but I'll show you what I've been doing. What I do is on each side of the crack, I drill 2 holes, and I make sure that the bit hits a piece of lath that's in here on both sides. One hole will get adhesive in it. The other hole is for the screw in the washer to hold it down while the adhesive dries. When I'm drilling through, if you find one lath, of course you can usually, go across anywhere where the drywall's soft, the plaster on the lath is soft. Then I go through and drill some holes. If my hole goes in between lath, I mark it so I know it's just gone between. I'll still put some adhesive in there, but I just have to remember that it goes through, so you don't want to, pump your adhesive in there and just keep going. But as you can see, I've got a pattern, and basically I usually try to put the adhesive in the holes closest to the crack, and then use the outside ones for the screws. And so right now what I'm going to do is blow all the dust out of each one. And to blow the dust out of them, I just use an air nozzle with a little bit of pressure, and just be sure to get the dust out of all of them first. So I did a few more holes. I just found some soft spots, and then like I said, I blew them out with the air gun. You don't want a lot of pressure, you just want to get most of the dust out, because if you blow a lot of pressure into the hole, it can actually loosen the plaster even more. I don't go crazy on this, because no matter how much you try to repair plaster, no matter what the method is, it's going to break and it's going to crack. And like I said, the shelf life for old lime plaster is only about 150 years, and then it's gone. It doesn't stick to anything anymore, and it just turns to sand. But like I said, I'll probably get 20 years out of this repair, and in the meantime it will crack again before then, and I'll have to put patches on it. But when it does fail, then we sheetrock. So the next thing I'm going to do for my adhesive is I'm going to use this water-based Loctite adhesive. Basically, any adhesive will work as long as it's water cleanup, because if it's water cleanup, then it means, well, it's water soluble and water-based. So what I'm going to do now to prime my hole to make the adhesive stick to everything, because inside the hole it's going to be dusty. And so basically what I do is I just start and squirt water in each hole. So I'm going to go do that to all of the holes. So now I've got water in all my holes, just a small amount, enough to knock down the dust, and enough to kind of prime the wood and get it moist, and that'll pull that water-based adhesive into it. And so the next thing we're going to do is put some adhesive in the holes. So what I've done now is about every other hole or so, or on the inside holes, like on here, I drilled holes next to the crack, and then you can see the holes outside of the crack I left open for the screws to put the screws in. Some of them where I just did one line of holes, I do every other one with adhesive in it. It's kind of a sloppy thing. You can see up here some that have adhesive, some don't. And you can tell if you're getting enough adhesive in them that when you push it, the, let's see if I can find a good example here. Yeah, there's one. When you push on it, you can kind of see the adhesive want to squeeze out. And that tells you that you got adhesive, and it goes all the way to the lath when you screw it down, and a little bit of adhesive wants to come out. So now we're going to screw it down. And what I use 1-inch drywall screws. And then I put the drywall screw, let's see here, in a 3/16 1.25-inch washer. And I put the drywall screw in it and then screw it into the hole I made. But man, you just barely have it kiss the drywall, or it'll just go through it, it'll break it and crumble it and everything. So you just barely have it kiss the drywall, and as you go in with it, you can kind of see when it starts squeezing the adhesive out of the other holes. And I'll put some in. I put caulking in every other hole, some of them side by side, and this is what it looks like with all of the screws in it. So basically what I've done, I'll drag my ladder over here. Basically what I've done is I didn't use every screw hole I made to put the drywall screws with the washers. I didn't use every one, because if I screw this one in and I get my caulking oozing out of several around it, like here's a real good example. That one, when I tightened it down, I got caulking out of 3 holes there. Here it started coming out of both of these, so I didn't use these holes, but you can kind of see what it looks like when the caulking comes out of the holes. When you start seeing the caulking come out, it's tempting just to keep torquing these things down, because it's so satisfying that that stuff's coming out of there. And but I just kiss the drywall, or kiss the plaster with these, maybe a little tight. As long as you just see that the caulking move inside of there, then you know, and you're not getting it too tight and damaging, because like up here, if you were to tighten those up too much, that whole thing will let go. And so you can kind of see, it's almost like surgery on a house in a way. But like I said, our house is from 1870, and there is no permanent repair for plaster. There's nothing will keep it from cracking over about 20 years, because the weight of thousands of ton of house is no match for a wall. But I'll let that all dry overnight, and then I'll back all my screws out. When I back all my screws out, I put my gun on high speed, so it really snaps them super fast and gets them out fast. So if any adhesive got on the threads, it just breaks it loose right away. And then when I do that, I'll go back and do one more check, and if there's any super loose spots, I'll redo them. And also, I don't go overboard either. There's other soft spots on the wall, but you could spend all day fixing all the soft spots. And basically what you have to do is you just got to kind of figure out the time this is going to take, how long this repair is going to last, versus tearing the plaster off and drywalling it. And just for an example, I tore all the plaster off this, and we have 9-foot ceilings, and so this is 9 by about 2 sheets wide, so so it's 40, 50, 60. I think I got about 60 some inches across here, and it took me about 30 minutes to get the plaster removed. It took me another 30 to put it in buckets and take it out to my truck. And then it took me about 20 minutes to hang the drywall. And then of course you guys know what it's like to finish drywall. But, and then I compared the two, and that was so bad off, it would have taken me twice the time to fix it like I did over here. And then of course we have the chimney here. We have 3 chimneys in this house. This is the chimney for the boiler, and it's in really good shape. So I'm just gonna use some spackling compound or drywall compound, and that's what I'll use on this when I'm done. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe all the extra adhesive off right now, and I use a wet rag to get as much of it as I can off, and then sand the rest. And then I don't use drywall primer or any kind of primer. I just use ceiling paint, flat ceiling paint, and usually do a coat over everything, and then the paint goes on real nice over that. But primer's nice too, but it's all kind of the same thing. But we'll show you more as it goes along. I'll quit rambling. Bye.